Hello, I am going to show you how to create triads. 4 different kinds. I'm going to show you how to make a major triad, a minor triad, a diminished triad, and an augmented triad. I always start with a major triad. A triad, regardless of its type, is a note. Whatever, choose a note. I'm going to pick A. And then you skip a note, which would be B, and then put the next note, which would be C. Skip the next note, which would be D, and then put the next note, which would be E. So I do this by saying silly phrases, all cows eat in this case. If I was making a triad based off of B, it would be boys deserve fudge. I skip, I don't put a C, and I don't put an E. So this is not a triad. C, D, F. At least, no, it's not a triad. It's a cluster of notes. So it needs to be note, skip a note, note, skip a note, note. Did I say that 3 times? I might have said that 4 times. But anyway, it's 3 notes, and you skip the middle notes between the 3. Oh boy, that was tough. Okay, so the next one would be cows eat grass. And you could also have deserve fudge always, etc., etc. Okay, these are different types of triads. We're going to make major triads first. So I'm going to erase everything. Alright. Here, we'll start with A. You have to know your key signatures. All cows eat. If you don't know your key signatures for major, you might be need to go back and watch a different video. At least according to how I do it. So, if you know your major key signatures, in the key of A major, I have fat cats go. Those sharps. So fat cats go. I just created a major triad. Make another one. Boys deserve fudge. Let's make that into a major triad. In the key of B major, I have sharps. I have fat cats go down alleys. Those are the sharps. I sharped the ones that were in this triad. So that is B major. I'm going to jump on the other side over here. Let's make F major. F, A, C. I don't know if that's major or minor yet. I have to think about my key signature. In the key of F major, I have 1 flat. It's a B. There's no B's in this thing, so this indeed is major. That's how you do the majors. That's pretty easy if you know your key signatures. Let's change these to minor. Let's do A again. This is A, C, E, all cows eat. And we already said that this is A major because there's 3 sharps in A major, and the only one in this triad is a C. So that's an A major triad. If I want to make it minor, I simply going to rewrite the notes over here. I'm just going to write them without anything on them. A, C, E. No sharps on that for now. To go from A major to A minor, the E, the top and the bottom note are going to stay the same. The middle note, however, is going to go down a half step. So if I'm going from A major to A minor, I'm going to keep the top and the bottom note the same. That's why my arrows just point straight across. And then my middle note is going to go down a half step. So this column is my major. I'm going to take the C sharp down a half step. A half step below C sharp is C natural. So here's my minor. It is A, C, E. Let's make it diminished. We'll do a couple of these. In diminished, the sign for diminished is a little circle. So the diminished one, the A is going to stay the same, so the bottom note stays the same. The middle note stays the same from the minor, and the top note is going to go down a half step to E flat. You can't call E flat D sharp. Inharmonically, they're the same. They sound the same. They look different. it needs to be on the staff space, 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 or line, line, line. Or you can still stick with the same thing of I'm going to skip the middle note between A and C and the middle note between C and E. So I'm leaving out the B and the D. So there's diminished. If you want to go from major to diminished, you have to lower the third or the middle note, and you have to lower the fifth or top note. Let me show you one more. Then we'll do a couple of practice ones. If I'm going to go to augmented, based off of the major key signature, I know major is A, C sharp, E. I'm going to keep my bottom note the same, which was A. I'm going to keep my middle note the same, which was C sharp. And I'm going to move my top note up a half step. I cannot call this F. F would not be line, 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 or space, space, space. It would be line, line, space, or space, space, line. So it has to be all cows eat still, but it's going to be E sharp. That is an augmented triad. Okay, let's do a couple more. Actually, let me show you the chart that I use for this. You can skip ahead if you want. So if I have my major triad right here, if you know your key signatures, this isn't hard. This one is the one I start with every time. If I want to go to augmented, the bottom note stays the same, the middle note stays the same, the top note, why did I do that? I'll try that again. The top note goes up a half step. So the only note that changes is the top note. It goes up a half step. If you're going to minor, oh, and this was augmented. If you're going to minor, the bottom note is going to stay the same. Oops. The top note is going to stay the same as the major. And the middle note is going to go down a half step. Alright, and then our last one, if you want to go to diminished, you have to go through 2 steps to get there. The bottom note is going to stay the same. I'll draw that in a circle in a minute. The middle note is going to stay the same as the minor, and the top note is going to go down a half step. The only note that changed from minor was the top note. The other notes all stayed the same. So this is the chart that I use in class, and it works for me. Let me do one example. Erase everything. Alright, so if I have, what's a good key? How about D flat? I want to find D flat minor. Let's say D flat diminished. So I'm going to find D flat diminished. I'm going to start with D flat major first. So D, deserve, fudge, always. Got to get that step right first. Got to make it major. In the key of D flat, I have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. But there's no G flat there. So I have D flat, F, A flat. If I want to make it diminished, I have to get all the way over here. There's a step in between, right? So the D flat is going to stay the same on both. I'm going to go ahead and write that. D flat and D flat. This is my major. I'm going to leave it the same. It's not going to change, okay? Alright, D flat, F, A, D flat, F, A. Alright, so I'm going to alter those top 2 notes. So when I make it minor, I have to lower the middle note a half step. Half step under F is F flat, not E. Top note stays the same. Going to diminished, that's over here, D flat diminished. My middle note's going to stay the same as the minor. And then my top note is going to go down a half step. So it was A flat, now it's going to be A double flat. Might as well make this augmented as well, just so you can see that as well. So to make it augmented, this was minor over here. To make it augmented, the D flat stays the same. The F stays the same from major, and then the A flat goes up a half step. Half step above A flat is A. And there you have it.